Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of the J&J podcast. Sorry for the week break. Things are a little crazy here. We got our finals coming up and everything, so we've been way busy, but we're back, and we have a lot of action to talk about, a lot of second round action, because when we left off, it was just beginning, and we got a lot to talk about here, so.
Let's start on the Eastern Conference. Obviously, 4 teams left. I think both series are 3-2 right now. I think Boston's playing tonight for their game 6. How do you like that series right now?
Oh, that series has been great to watch. I thought the Sixers were done for when they dropped Game 3. They were down 2-1. I didn't think they were going to be able to come back, but you know, they've come back really strong. Joel has been playing great, as well as Harden, which I'm really happy for him that he's finally getting a good stretch here in the playoffs. And they took the series back, and in my opinion, I think it's going to be a very, very close series. I don't think that Celtics lose tonight, but
yeah, the Celtics are a team that have so much experience, and they're so well put together. I think this definitely is going to Game 7. But who knows? I think it is in Boston tonight. So
I think it's in
Philly.
It's in Philly.
But if it's in Philly and Boston wins on the road, 76ers have a tough game ahead of them. The Garden is really hard to play at. One of the best atmospheres for basketball. We all know that. But I think the 76ers need to take tonight's game to its full advantage. They need to, keep feeding James because he's playing amazing. I love how he's getting recognized because people think that he's washed and stuff, but he's still showing that he can, return back to that MVP style like he was in Houston. But he's a great player. Joel, obviously, MVP now.
Yeah, dude. I mean, hey, we were right. Joel Embiid got MVP. But I'm going to make a little take here. I think if the Sixers lose tonight, they lose the series for sure. But they need to come out strong. They need to get this win because I don't think they can win a Game 7 in the Garden.
Yeah.
But, yeah. We also got Nuggets versus Suns tonight. That series has been great as well, but I think that one's a little more lopsided than the other series we just talked about.
The Nuggets look really good, but the Suns, in my opinion, need to win this game. Like, obviously, they need to win it, but if they don't, I'm just like, come on. Like, you have that much star power on your team and you're losing. You got Kevin Durant as your second option. Devin Booker is literally looking like the second coming of Jesus. And, I mean, Devin Booker needs to pull out all of his cards tonight to win this. But, yeah, I don't know. If the Nuggets don't win tonight, I'd be scared as a Nuggets fan because Devin Booker is that guy right now. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I think there's been 2 key factors for the Suns in this series, and it's been Ayton has been playing horribly. They haven't seen anything out of Ayton as far as production, but Chris Paul's been out too, and Chris Paul's a huge part of their team. He's the gel, he holds everything together, and it's basically been if D-Book and KD don't combine for a minimum 70, they're not winning a game. And it's ridiculous. And I saw, fourth quarter, Shamet stepped up the other game. I saw Terrence Ross step up at times, but they need that other person as well to help them because Ayton definitely has not been that person.
Yeah, I think it was, I want to say it was like Game 3. Kevin Durant had maybe 30 plus maybe, but on 9 of 25 shooting, and I saw one quote, it was the worst ever 30-point playoff performance in the whole entire world. But yeah, I mean, if he's scoring 30 plus on you, D-Book's almost 40 a game, it feels like. But yeah, the Nuggets need to win this game or they're just
seriously.
gonna lose. Like,
D-Book has been the best player in the playoffs by far. I think it was a 2-game stretch, he was shooting 80%.
Yeah.
Like
he
80%.
missed like 5 shots.
Yeah, with like 40 bombs. Like,
Yeah.
that's just unreal. But I think the Nuggets are playing almost worse when Jokic is scoring crazy numbers. Like, I think when Jokic is around 20, 30 points, but he's just facilitating and like gets everybody else involved, like that's when the Nuggets are unbeatable. That's when they're the 1 seed.
I think the last game he had a 23 triple-double.
Yeah, and that's all they needed.
So yeah, obviously Jokic is playing really good. Jamal Murray, we know he's a playoff type of player, and he's providing for them. It's just if he can continue that, so as Nikola Jokic too. So yeah,
A little MPJ action too.
Yeah.
He was passing the other night. That was
crazy.
not normal.
That's crazy.
But then we got the other 2 series that play tomorrow night. We got Warriors versus Lakers, as well as the Knicks versus Heat. Yeah, I don't know why I just spaced, but how are you feeling about the Knicks Heat right now? Let's start with the East.
I've tuned into a couple of the games. I think it's definitely interesting. Whoever goes to the Eastern Conference Finals has a guaranteed spot in the finals. I feel like there's no way either Boston or the 76ers lose to, whoever makes it out of that other round or out of that other series. But the Heat are looking favored right now. They're up 3-2. They lost the game in Game 5. But they were up 3-1, had all the momentum. They can lose a game.
Yeah.
Like, you have such a big gap if you're up 3-1. I think the Heat take this one tomorrow night. I think they're in Miami.
Game 6.
I think they're in Miami. So Miami's a really hard spot to play at. We know the Knicks can be inconsistent, but they've been playing good. That's why they've, beat the Cavs. But yeah, I think the Heat take this one. I think Jimmy has just been playing so well. He's going to continue to.
Yeah, no, I think Jimmy's got him. He had a not so great game last night for his standards, but I mean the Knicks are gonna just be tired. They had Brunson play the entire game last night.
Really?
He didn't sit out at all, as well as Quentin Grimes. But not anybody else, just Quentin Grimes. And
Quentin Grimes plays a lot of minutes. Like,
yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
I mean, but
yeah, he's been playing good for
minutes.
them. I do like what I've seen out of Quentin, but I'm surprised they haven't played more of Obi Toppin and because Obi's been playing really good in the playoffs. Emmanuel Quickly.
He was out. I think he was injured last night.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
But yeah, they have a lot of good pieces, and if they can take this next game, that's gonna be a tough job for Miami.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the Knicks obviously have to win this game, and it's back against the walls. If they win this game, they're looking really good to win the series.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're gonna win this game. I think Miami was just taking a rest game, honestly. I feel like it's all but over for the Knicks. They just don't have enough willpower. It seems like Randall seems like he's really just running out there.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
Randall does not look like he's been in shape at all.
Mm-mm.
He just that's what I've never been a fan of Randall. I just don't see that much star power in him. Obviously he was playing really good at the end of the regular season, but he just completely disappeared this playoffs. So that next series, the last series we have to talk about. What do you think?
Warriors Lakers. I feel like I've been badly biased towards the Lakers the whole time in the playoffs. I've just been expecting them to lose and start playing like they were playing. But ever since the trade deadline, this has been a different team.
Yeah.
And it is a different team. And they're up 3-2. They were up 3-1. But I truly mean this. It's not like the Knicks series where I think if the Knicks, win, they're 100% winning. I think they could drop that last game.
Yeah.
I think if the Warriors beat the Lakers on the road, which is very difficult. They haven't been able to win on the road the whole year. If they can find a way to do that, they definitely win the series. They'll definitely complete the 3-1 comeback. But it's just, I don't know. It's not looking good right now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Obviously, the Warriors are down 3-1, and they take the game in Game 5. But going to LA, that is such a hard spot to play at. Lakers fans are crazy. We just got to see another masterclass game out of Steph, or it's just going to be game over. Obviously, LeBron's been playing good. AD had a head injury.
He got hit his head, and they took him out in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
But I just saw that he's going to play for Game 6. So
Yeah, I saw that too.
yeah.
But yeah, if the Warriors somehow win on the road, the Warriors are winning.
Mm-hmm.
They're winning that series so easily just because they're one of the best home teams in the past decade, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
They've always been so good at home, so it's gonna be a tough task if they do push it to 7 for the Lakers. So
yeah, I mean, it's really hard for me to bet against the Warriors. Like, with how much success they've had in the West, it's just it's hard for me to say, oh, I think the Warriors are gonna drop this series.
Yeah.
Especially Steve Kerr is undefeated. He's undefeated as a coach in the West, for series, which is just insane.
Yeah.
So, but regardless, I don't think either of them are going to beat the Nuggets or maybe the Suns, but I don't think they'll beat the Nuggets.
Yeah, I don't know. The Nuggets are looking really good right now. I think they definitely have the best chances at the finals out of the West. So let's talk about the predictions for the Western Conference Finals and the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, I think regardless of who makes it out of the Lakers Warriors series, I think the Nuggets can and should beat either of those teams.
Yeah.
Matchup wise, they're just better. They're just better, and I'd like to say that I think they'll win, but I don't know what Nuggets team we're gonna get because I've seen the Nuggets in the past get to that spot and they just. They didn't work. It didn't work. They weren't ready. I'm hoping that this is the year that they're ready, but I just don't know. But I think the Nuggets will win. I think the Nuggets are a championship team right here.
Yeah, growing up, I've always been a fan of the Nuggets just because of their name. I think it's a really cool, name. I think it just drew my attention when I was younger. But, I do like the Nuggets. I think that they do win this series, and I think they have the easiest path to the finals right now, obviously in the West. But in the other series, I think the Lakers probably get out unless Steph Curry has a masterclass game against like he did against the Kings. But yeah, I think it would probably go 6 games in the Western Conference Finals. I think LeBron will take a couple. There's just no way.
Yeah.
LeBron is LeBron. We know what he's capable of. So you got the same thing, or?
Yeah, I'm thinking the Nuggets in probably about 6. Probably Lakers make it out, and LeBron does all he can. AD has good game, bad game, good game, bad game, but they start on the road again, and unlike the Warriors, the Nuggets are capable of taking a road game, so it's just going to be too much for them, in my opinion.
Yeah. So let's move on to the East now. The Heat are up 3-2, and the 76ers are up 3-2. Who do you think makes it out of that round, out of those series, and what do you think the Western Conference Finals will look like?
I personally want the Knicks to win, just because the Knicks have never made it there. They're not going to win. I think the Heat make it out, but I think the Heat make it out, and I think they play the 76ers, and I think the Sixers just beat the crap out of them. It's not even a series. The Heat just can't keep consistently doing what they're doing.
Yeah. Being a Pacers fan, watching the Knicks versus the Pacers when we were younger in the Eastern, I think it was, the semifinals actually, watching prime Melo go at it against probably the best version of Paul George, other than maybe OKC MVP race type of Paul George. But I've never been a fan of the Knicks. I just, Spike Lee, Reggie Miller, that rivalry has always been good. But I'd like to see the Heat make it out. And I do think they will make it out. Otherwise, for the other series, I think that's an easy game for the 76ers. I just don't see them losing another game. Obviously, Boston's made it to the finals last year, but I just feel like the 76ers have all the momentum right now, and they got to take advantage, and I do think they will. So
if the 76ers beat Boston, do you think that could be the downfall of Boston? Like, because I've been hearing rumors that maybe Jaylen Brown's not happy with the situation.
I'd say not necessarily it's their downfall. Obviously, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are now available for supermaxes, which they can't afford, I think, which is crazy.
I feel like if they do that, there's no way they can afford all those little pieces that they need as well.
It could be their downfall just because if they do sign them on the supermax. But I feel like the 76ers, or not the 76ers, the Celtics, their organization is they're just a smart organization. They always have a backup plan. Brad Stevens now the GM.
Yeah.
We know what Brad Stevens can do on the court too. So we know he knows that what needs to be done to make a team good. We'll just have to see. But yeah, I think 76ers, Heat, 76ers in 5.
76ers in 5. Yeah, I think I'm not far behind you. I think Sixers could win in 5 or 6 for sure. Like, not much problem. So I'm going to go with you. I'll say 76ers in 5.
Okay.
And then we'll wait to talk about that championship, I guess, Nuggets versus Sixers. But let's move on to a little game we're going to play here. And we're going to talk about all 16 teams that were in the playoffs or are still in the playoffs. And we have our 3 categories. We've got disappointing, met expectations, and we have surprising. And we're going to give our opinions on all 16 teams here. So you can start, Jackson, with your first team being the Bucks. Where did you put them?
I put the Bucks in disappointing. I think you probably had them in disappointing too.
Yeah.
That was just absolutely sad. Obviously, they were the 2021, champs. Giannis being a top 3 MVP candidate. I just felt like he wasn't ready. I feel like he was just so banged up, and the Milwaukee Bucks, cast was not there fully, but they also had Jimmy Butler playing against them. So, yeah.
Yep, I agree with you. Bucks were definitely disappointing. I don't have much to say there other than what he said, but we can move on to the 2 seed. We got the Celtics.
Celtics I have in Met.
Yeah.
I think the Boston Celtics were, going to be that team that makes it out of the first round no matter what. They always have been. They're always that consistent team, and I bet you have it in Met too. So
yeah, I had Celtics and met expectations. I thought they were going to lose to the 76ers.
Yeah.
And here they are. They're down 3-2. They won, I wouldn't say handedly against the Hawks. The Hawks gave them a little bit of problems, but they are about where I thought they would be. They haven't played bad. They also haven't been like so good to where I was like, you know what, this team has surprised me. They're going to win it all. But yeah. And then our next one, the 76ers.
76ers I put in Met. You do too?
Yeah, I also have them Met.
I said Met because Joel's been playing good, James Harden playing good. But there are another team that's been always there, always in the first round, taking their opponent, and then going to the second round. Maybe they have troubles, maybe they don't, but they're always there. They're always consistent, and I knew they would be around that region. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the Sixers, I put them in met expectations, but I think they're like almost teetering to surprising for me. Because you and I expected them to do well. They met our expectations. But I think a lot of people were counting the Sixers out pretty early. Like, they didn't think they were going to do a lot of damage. And they didn't realize how good this team actually is. But for us, they met. Maybe for others, they're surprising them. But they're right where I thought they'd be. I knew they'd sweep the Nets. You knew that. And I knew they'd put up a really good fight against the Celtics, and I thought they would beat them, and it looks like they might do that. So
Yeah.
Now we're moving on to the 4 seed, the Cavs.
Cavs, I'd put in disappointing. Obviously, my prediction was I think Cavs in 6 or 7, and they just weren't ready. They were not ready at all. You put disappointing too.
Yep, Cavs were not ready. We talked about them struggling early because of their youth, and instead of just struggling early, they actually just went ahead and struggled the entire time. So they disappointed me. I thought they could put up a fight even in the second round if they played to their max potential, but they weren't there yet. They didn't do anything. And it disappointed me, and I'm sure it disappointed a lot of fans in the Midwest region as well. So.
Yeah. I think the Cavs need to do something with their roster and in free agency, or make a trade, or even trade up in the draft. They got to do something, maybe to do with their wings. They got to do something to help them out. So.
Yeah, they may need a little more spacing, in my opinion. Obviously, Garland and Mitchell can shoot very, very well. That third option always kind of switches between a Coro or whoever they want to put in the starting lineup. But Mobley and Allen in at the same time might, it's great defensively, don't get me wrong, but it may not be the best move offensively for them. Maybe something like that could give them the boost, as well as a Jay Crowder kind of guy on their roster.
I feel like everybody needs some type of player like Jay Crowder to help spacing, help shooting. But as you were talking about getting some more spacing, a guy that could stretch the floor, also good at defense. I think that they should trade away Jarrett Allen for maybe someone like Kristaps Porzingis. We all know he is a unicorn. He obviously he played way better than I expected this season. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, he stretches the floor, he rebounds, he plays defense. He's a good player.
Yeah, I think Kristaps would fit well, and it almost makes me wonder if they should have gotten rid of Lauri Markkanen. Obviously, he wasn't putting up the numbers that he is now.
Yeah.
But Lauri Markkanen might have been a good fit for this starting lineup.
Yeah.
And they just play a little smaller, but I don't know. But we can move on here to the 5 seed. We got the Knicks. Where'd you put the Knicks at?
The Knicks I have been surprising. You do too. I don't really like putting them in surprising, but they have surprised me. I can't really say much, but they just surprised me.
Yeah, we didn't think they were making it out the first round. I thought they were going to put up a fight and maybe go to 7 with them, but I didn't think that they were going to win in 5. That was crazy to me. But the Knicks definitely surprised me. And then we got the 6th seed, the Nets. I think I know exactly where they are.
The Nets, I actually put in Met.
Really?
Because I knew they weren't going to do anything. They couldn't really go, below my expectations, because I knew they were going to get swept. So I put them in Met. I think they fought hard. They almost won one game. I think it was game 3.
It was when Joel was out.
Yeah.
That was the only reason I put them in disappointing, because you and I both thought they were going to get swept. But I think I might have said they were maybe going to win a game, and they had their chance to win a game, and when Joel was out, I was like, okay, they might take this one. No, they dropped it, lost in 4. Happens to at least one team every year, but I don't know, the Nets disappointed me in that aspect. And then we got the 7 seed in the East, which was the Hawks.
I put them in Met. You did too, so. The Hawks are the Hawks. I feel like they always are there, and they always take at least one game. And I was almost about to put them in surprising, because they beat the Heat to go into that 7th seed, which was pretty surprising to me, because I didn't have them making the playoffs at all. So I put them in Met. This close to surprising. So.
Yeah, I agree. I was teetering putting them in surprising. I thought they might win 1 or 2, just because they have star power, and that's like an important aspect in the playoffs, like having a guy you can rely on. But they were playing a tough Celtics team, and they weren't in a good situation. So they took 2 games, and I probably would have put them in surprising if there wasn't another 7 seed that played a million times better and actually made it out of the first round and might make it to the conference finals. So, yeah. And then 8 seed inside of the East, obviously the Heat. I think we know where both of us put them.
Surprising. They played amazing in the first round, beating Giannis, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez. The number 1 seed, Bucks. That was crazy. We had no clue. I was absolutely surprised. Like, seeing Jimmy Butler turn into basically Michael Jordan for those games was absolutely remarkable. So, yeah, surprising for sure.
It looks like the Heat from last year, honestly, and even like the bubble Heat with how well they played. Like, they shocked me. I saw them because you see a 1 seed in the NBA and you're like, okay, they're never gonna lose in the first round. But I saw 1 game go off the board early. I'm like, okay, Bucks are down 0-1, no biggie, and then they win 2 games, and you're like, uh-oh. Then it's 2-1, and then 3-1. You're like, okay, this is crazy. The Heat are playing great.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're an Eastern Conference Finals team, so that's great for them. Good season, good coaching by Eric Spoelstra to get them there too. So, and then now let's move on to the West. Start with the Nuggets here.
The Nuggets I put in surprising. I've not been too big on the Nuggets. Mainly Jokic. I know Jokic is 2-time MVP for something, but he's been playing really good this playoffs. Obviously, he had a 53-point game, and it wasn't enough to win. But he's still putting up great numbers. Jamal Murray's playing good. So yeah, I said surprising.
I put them in Met because I had high expectations for him, and I basically said Jokic is gonna win. He's gonna take them far, and I wanted to just stick to that. He's taking them far and doing about the damage I expected them to do. I thought the Suns series versus them would be tighter than it has been. I know it's 3-2, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like that close of a series to me. It hasn't felt like a neck and neck series, but that's the only reason why they're in Net for me. They're teetering on surprising for sure.
Yeah. And for the 2nd seed, the Grizzlies, what do you got?
Disappointing for sure. I mean, Grizzlies, they already got rid of Dylan Brooks. He's already gone. They said he's not coming back, and he wasn't the reason they lost that series. I mean, he was doing all that stuff, but they just weren't playing that well.
Yeah.
And they just don't look like they're ever going to be a championship team with that roster. They're just not ready.
All I'm gonna say is, you go up against LeBron, you're probably gonna lose, especially when you're playing the Grizzlies. I don't know, the Grizzlies are just not ready. They're not, a prime time team in my eyes. Obviously, they were really good the regular season, but that's 82 games. You're playing against LeBron in a 7-game series. He's probably gonna win against you, So
yeah, I'd say about the same thing. But this was one of the saddest ones. I don't even want to talk about it. The Kings.
I mean, I had them in Met. I wasn't really too high on the Kings, but I knew they would, put up a fight, and that's why I put them in Met, because they're going up against Steph Curry, the Splash Bros. They're going up to reigning champs. It's gonna be hard, but I had a feeling that they would, at least take a couple games, and they pushed it to 7. I said Met. I liked how they performed.
Yeah, I was disappointed. I wanted the Kings to win, and I thought they had a chance to, because I thought the Warriors just weren't at the level they were at. It reminded me a lot of being a Pacers fan, watching us play LeBron in the playoffs when we were younger.
Oh man!
Like that year where Depot there was the goaltending call, all that stuff happened. LeBron game winner against us, but it just that series reminded me of that, and part of you really wanted like the underdog to win, but then it's also really fun to see the Warriors move on, see Steph go for 5, LeBron versus Steph. So I don't know, it was disappointing to see the Kings go, but they did play a great series. So it's teetering on Met for me too.
All right, and then the 4th seed in the West was the Suns. Where you got them?
Yeah, I got Suns and Met. They're meeting my expectations. I thought they're like kind of a fresh, newer team put together. So going into the playoffs with basically like no team chemistry, it's really tough to win against great teams. So they're meeting it for me.
I put them in surprising. Obviously, when KD was traded there, it was a big surprise. I feel like their whole season has been surprising. With the competition in the West has been crazy. But when KD came back from his injury, they only lost like 1 or 2 games, if not even 2.
I think it was 1 with KD back, yeah.
But I knew they were probably gonna be about the same in the playoffs. But the way that D-Book is playing right now and how Kevin Durant is a second option, it's surprising to me. Seeing Kevin Durant, we've watched so many years of Kevin Durant, dominating on OKC, Golden State. We thought he was going to be the first option, but Devin Booker is taking it to another level and just completely surprising me. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And then we got the Clippers. Clippers, I don't even know, man.
I put the Clippers in Met. I thought I'd be a little generous. Kawhi can't do everything. Russell, Kawhi was only there for like
2 games.
2 games. Kawhi did all he could. Obviously, I think it was an MCL.
Yeah, he was injured.
But Russell, we love to see it. That's why I kind of put them in Met, because I knew Russell would probably, come back and, at least put up a fight. So, yeah.
Yeah, they were disappointing to me, only because Kawhi was out. Like, if Kawhi was in, I bet they would have taken another game. But they were putting up a fight at first. That game 1 was great, but they just didn't have enough without Kawhi, and it disappointed me. I would have loved to see the Clippers put up a better fight, but yeah, I get it. I understand why they lost, but they're still disappointed to me. Then the 6th seed, the Dubs.
Yep. The Warriors were in Met for me. Coming off of a championship, I feel like they should have, met their expectations in the playoffs. I had a feeling they would probably get out of the first round. I think I had them in 7. So yeah, I put them in Met. I had a feeling they would probably be around the same way, but I'm a little disappointed in how they're playing in the second round. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I wish Jordan Poole would step up a little bit. I'm not liking how they're playing right now. There's been very few times in my life where I've been like confident and like feeling like the Warriors are going to lose a game. And like I don't know, ever since like game 2, I haven't felt good about any of the games they've played.
Yeah.
But I put them in Met. They won the first round as a 6th seed, which is still impressive regardless. And Wiggins and Curry both playing great. I know Curry had a couple off games by his standpoint, but yeah.
Yeah. Talking about Jordan Poole, I feel like he's getting a lot of hate for really no reason. I feel like, he's still young, but like he's getting way too much hate just because he's not even playing that much. Yeah. But when he's playing, he's probably nervous because he's getting so much like hate. I feel like he's just not getting the recognition that he was doing so much for them in the regular season. Curry not playing, Clay not playing. He was always stepping up and into that second role, even with Wiggins out. He was good. I don't know why they're hating on him.
Yeah, Jordan is basically like the 4th or 5th option right now on that team. So people are upset that he's not putting up like second, first option points and production, but it's so tough because in a playoff game you got 5 guys and you basically play them way more than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And he's playing the minutes at the role that he's at, and Warriors fans or other fans regardless are mad they're paying him so much money, but he's doing what he should be doing. So yeah, it's tough. But
that's
Lake Show.
Yep.
It's surprising for sure.
Surprising. Obviously, when you have LeBron on your team, you're just probably gonna win. But they have a lot to do if they make the third round. Obviously, Western Conference Finals. LeBron has to, to make me say that he's the GOAT. He needs to win this next series if he makes it to the Western Conference Finals. But yeah, they've been a surprising team. Like you said, they've been a different team since the trade deadline. Rui Hachimura, probably one of the best players on their team right now.
Yeah.
Just because, he's taking every minute and using it to get better and make that team gel even more.
Yeah. No, they're really gelling. Vandy's been doing a great job on Steph, but this team has surprised the hell out of me, and I got nothing else to say. They're very surprising.
Yeah. And then that last team, the Timberwolves, where you have them?
I had them disappointing. They're way better as a roster when you look at them than they play, and I thought they would do something, but they didn't do anything. So.
Yeah, I put them in disappointing too. The Wolves, obviously, I felt like Anthony Edwards and Cat didn't have that much help. Obviously, they traded for Rudy Gobert, but Rudy Gobert was just there. So I put them in disappointing. I'm glad they took one game, but I felt like they could have probably taken another game.
That's how I felt too.
So I put them in disappointing just for that fact. So.
Well, that concludes all of our teams and our episode as well. So thank you for tuning into episode 6 here. We'll have a lot more to talk about in the next week with the third round getting started, as well as the conclusion of the second round. Follow us on TikTok, J_and_J_pod, as well as our other socials. You can subscribe down below. Follow our Instagram. A lot more content coming soon. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your week.